Hi, this is Gwen. Today is Sunday, August the 13th, 2023, and it's about 11:20 p.m. Right now, I am trying to figure out why this screen looks like. Okay, there. I'm going to review Yapa's book called "And What of the Cargo." It's good. And I had already did a review, but I decided to do it again because I had something else that I wanted to add. So this is a redo. You never saw the other one, but I'm letting you know it's a redo. Okay. Now, first things first, the book is on Amazon, and this is a link to the book. I am going to put this in the description box when I upload, and I'm also going to put it in the comments. If that is if who are these people? YouTube. If YouTube lets me put in a comment, it hasn't let me put in a comment in weeks. I've been wanting to comment on people's things, but it won't let me comment. Won't let me post. And so I've got my stuff saved, but it won't let me put anything there. And I am so proud. It means I've been saying something they don't want. It means I'm having an impact. Everybody else get mad. I'm proud. And it might even be a glitch that I have. It might not be them, but anyway, I'm gonna take my win. I think it's a win. Okay. Anyway, this is the link to the book, and you can just go to that link on the page and then just open it up. I also have a sample of the book here, and what I'm gonna do is go over this sample a little bit and the synopsis. So there are things I want to discuss in there. And so this is the Amazon page that'll lead you right to the book. Also, it's on Kindle Unlimited. With Kindle Unlimited, if you are a reader or a person who likes to read, then if you pay about $10, $12 a month, you can read unlimited books and have 20 books borrowed at the same time, up to 20 books borrowed at the same time. And then as you finish them off, you can give them back and get more books. But you can hold up to 20 books at one time. And so I think that's a good deal if you like to read. And a lot of his books are on there, which is great. It has a whole variety of books that you might like. So almost any genre. I haven't seen a genre that it doesn't cover. I like action, adventure, and science fiction and things like that. I'm usually too chicken for a horror book. And this one scared the heck out of me. All along. It scared me. So, because I am a chicken with horror books. That's because I basically believe what this stuff is. I think that somewhere in there is a mix of something weird going on. So, yeah, I ain't too far from thinking that kind of stuff anyway. So, when I see horror book stuff, I get the willies and run away. And this is indeed a horror book, and it's good. I can read it. Um, my first one of the biggest horror books a long time ago was Stephen King's Salem's Lot. Scared the hell out of me. So that's the extent of. I ain't been right with horror books anymore since. And so I never read The Ring. I mean, I never saw the movie The Ring or Blair Witch or any of those. I haven't seen those. Too scared. I want to say I'm thinking about looking at the movie Haunted Mansion, but I don't know. It's scary. But I'll watch Resident Evil and any old action adventure where somebody getting beat up. I'm good with that. So below here is my Amazon review. So I'm going to talk about that, talk about the prologue and all the stuff that I liked about the book in detail. And I'm going to go over my last part that I ain't going to show you yet. So I'm going to scroll back up here. So this is my Amazon review. You can also see that on Amazon. And I wrote down that this is a really scary story and it may be one of the best books that you will ever read. I mean that because I mean it because it talks about issues of the day. If you can hear my stomach doing weird stuff, excuse me. And I excuse me even if you can't hear it, but I'm gonna keep moving because I ain't gonna edit it out. I'm terrible at editing. It talks okay. Now it's one of the best books you'll ever read because it talks about things of today, and it also talks about solutions. And I think that if you're a black person or black first person or even a person of another race, it's all something that you need to look at and think about. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be thought about in this book, and it needs to have each reader have some moments of quiet reflection, even within a storyline. There are things you need to think about and enjoy as you read because Yapa Yapa is a very, 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 very good writer. And I wrote down here, Mr. Yapa is one of the most imaginative writers out there. Yes. What's good about his writing is that he can write from not only different people's point of view, but in his other works, you might see him writing from an animal's point of view, even a tree's point of view. Okay, and it's convincing and it's very well written, and he tackles different subject matter. Very, very, very good writer. He handles controversial subject matter with grace and maturity. Yes, he's way more mature than I am, but it's graceful. It is very, very, very tactful, sophisticated, and well done. Well done. Very well done. And so that's something to see as gentlemanly, courtly, I would say. I'd even say courtly. Very, very well done. And he will say some of the things that you need to hear, not that needs to be said, but he says it very gracefully, almost scientifically. He offers powerful insight on one of the most important topics of our era, the Atlantic slave trade and modern day racism. Yes, he's addressed that subject in Melanin and in this book. Both books that are books that needs to be read by the larger society, and they're in desperate need of reading these books, really. In this story, there's retribution um, for the evils past and present. There's blood, dismemberment, horror, anger, rage, justice, hate, love, passion, politics, wealth, and finally reconciliation and peace. What a journey, and I loved it. And yes, it did scare me. It scared me a lot. That's what I wrote. I see where I made a typo, so I'm going to correct that. I'm not going to correct it in Amazon. I'm going to leave that. When I write stuff, I can't really see what I wrote till much later. Like I read this paragraph several times before I published, and only now did I catch that. In this story, there's retribution for for evils, for evils, past and present. For now, I'm gonna leave it for evils. In this story, there's retribution for evils, past and present. I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm not gonna rewrite that again. And don't let me activate Grammarly. Heaven knows what it'll come up with. By the way, if anybody's reading or like to write a lot, I would recommend getting Grammarly. It's pretty good if you use it. So, when I was reviewing the book, I was making notes. First, well, actually, I read the book twice. When I read it the first time, I read it all the way through because I just couldn't, stop reading. And plus, I read it audio style. And I'll tell you a minute how to make it do audio. I read that, and then when I got ready to write my review, I went back over it and highlighted the parts that I thought uh, were that I wanted to point out that was really, really something that I wanted that had things in it that I wanted to say or mention. So I highlighted the location and what I thought at the time when I read it. I'm gonna do that without giving spoilers. At least that's the plan. Now, before we do that, I'm gonna try to get show you how to make it read. without how to make your Kindle book read to you. Now it's not going to be able to show it out loud how it'll do it because you can't hear it because it's on the microphone. I'm talking to you on the mic, so you wouldn't be able to hear it. But I'm opening up my Kindle and I'm going to show you something in the heading that'll make it read off of the Kindle as soon as it opens. Now, let me scroll, get to the part where it does it. Go to Tools, and then, well, wait a minute. Let me open up his book. Okay, this is the beginning. I was highlighting that because I wanted to demonstrate something that I forgot what it was. But anyway, here's how you make it read if you got a PC. Go to Tools, and then it says Start Text to Speech, and just tell it to read. You won't be able to see it, and then you would tell it to stop text to speech if you want it to stop. Now, see, when I clicked text to speech and told it to start, it did start, but you couldn't hear it. And I'm sorry about that, but like I said, I'm working with headphones, and so it won't do that. So that's my Kindle book, and that's where it is at my Kindle. And I'm coming down out of that. So to get Alexa to read, all you have to do is tell her to read it, and it'll activate. You would say, and I'm not going to say her name again because she's nearby me and can hear me say her name. So I'm going to say, blah, blah, read my Kindle book. And then she'll kick on and just start reading it out loud. Now, if you have the app on your smartphone, then all you have to do is activate and tell it to read, and then you got your audiobook going. And it does very well. It does very, very, very well. There's a book that I had bought that I had the audio version to it, and I actually preferred the blah blah version as she read it because the narrator for that book was really on my nerves. I really didn't like the book because of the narration. So I let blah blah read it to me, and I was good. Okay. So you can tell blah blah to read it to you, and you get the audiobook purpose. Now, usually when you have an audiobook, it has a great narrator, and they usually do it, but on this particular book, it didn't, and I had the blah blah version. And that's how I read the book the first time with this one. Okay. So that's me talking about blah blah, reading it to you. Now let's talk about my thoughts. The prologue was great. I loved the payback scene. It was excellent. I'm gonna go over here and tell you what the book is about. Now, there are two parts I wanted to highlight here. By the way, this is a perfect synopsis for the book. He did a very good job. It's not a summary, it's a preview. That's what it's supposed to be. Just a nice preview that hints at what's needed, what's going to be going on. And this right here for her captors, um, here, it did not end well. The voyage didn't. I mean, there. The voyage did not end well for her captors. She was crushing odds against her and the people within the bowels of the floating nightmare. Knew that eventually this voyage would not end well for her captors. That's a perfect summary right there. I like this. There are books that I've not read, even on Kindle Unlimited, because their summary was too long. It wasn't because I was taking fussing about the graphics of a summary being long. It's just that it basically told me the whole story. And so I didn't have nothing to go into the book for. The summary told me the story. They summarized the whole story. I lost interest because I knew what the plot was. So I didn't have any reason to read it. So I actually didn't get it, and I've done that several times. When it gets down to like a whole page, I'm pretty much done. If I got to read a whole page worth of summary, by the time I'm done, I don't lost interest in their book. His is the perfect summary, I think, that size where you just get there, give a brief overview, and give me just enough to make me interested. And right there, it did not end well for her captors. That's enough to get me interested. Now I'm going to know what happened. Okay, let me see. This part I'm going to come back to. It's called here, which is rightly said and written about the enslavement and fate of Africans who were kidnapped from their homeland and transported to the Americas and other lands along the Middle Passage. Absent, however, is an expanded examination of the fate of those who did not make it through the journey. They're jumping overboard, choosing death as a better alternative to chattel enslavement. And, or to put it bluntly, what of the cargo? What of the cargo? That's what this book is about. What of their souls and their spirits? Or to put it bluntly, what of the cargo? I'm gonna come back to this right here a little bit later. It's I'm trying to highlight it with my mouse, and I can't do it. So I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna come back to that last paragraph a little bit later. If you can hear me drinking my tea, I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing. I'm just drinking my tea, and I'm hope that it's not too distracting for you. But my voice goes away when I talk too much, and it is easily messed up when I push it too far. Now let's start off again. I love the payback scene in the prologue. Excellent, 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 excellent. And that's all I'm gonna say. Page 41, location 713. I love the turn of phrase that he had in the book. It was imaginative and a realistic portrayal at the same time. It was about a character who had depth, a personality, and not just a cutout. It was very nice to read that. I like the way he does his characters because his characters are not one dimensional, not at all. They're three dimensional, fully developed characters. Each one of his characters could really have a book all their own. Yes, he spends the time to fully develop that character and various characters, and they are complicated, funny, quirky, some bad, some good, but they are very, very, very fully rounded characters. And it was very nice to see that. And they're imaginative. Like you won't meet these people because you don't know them. They're characters in a book, but they're realistic at the same time. And I thought that was very, 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 very good. A good turn of phrase. Very good. Very good on that. And then on page 42, location 734, this is where I got scared the first time. Woo, yikes. Yes, I got scared. Put the book down. Had to go do dishes or something because I didn't got scared. It took me a while to come back to it because it scared the hell out of me. That was scary. So that was location 734. In Kindle, when you read a book, it's keeping your page number and it's keeping a location number. So that's where that is. So if you go to location 734, that's where that would be. And Kindle, it also lets you highlight certain parts if you want to. I'm gonna go back to Kindle again and show you how to do that. here. I probably need to get a new mouse, but I just refuse to do it. Now, like here, up here, this is bookmarks. You could just bookmark that page if you want to. You see that little dot? That's how you bookmark it. If I want to, um, that's what I did was doing. If I want to highlight a certain paragraph or something, all I got to do is do that, and it'll highlight it for me. And it'll show the notebook to review the highlights. Uh, and so this is where you see the location number. Um, Bookmark right there where I just bookmarked it, right? And then it'll show my location and that, okay? And so that's all you have to do. You can even export it, but it won't let you export no more than about like 5 or so% when you want to read something, when you want to use it for something. Like that's what I did. I just exported my little percent. It won't let you export the whole book in any case. Review all the highlights, and I don't want it to do that. But anyway, to highlight it, it'll show you how to highlight them. Go back to whatever you highlighted, and that's what I did. Okay. Now I'm gonna minimize it, and you saw where the location number was. So that's how you find them. So if you ever want to see what I was referring to when I said what I said, it'll give you that location number, and that's to be the specific part where I was talking about. Okay, that location number. Note for on page 46, location 791. It was a metaphor that he used, and I loved it. I thought it was very, 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 very clever. Witty. I love a witty author. Page 48, location 816. Got scared again. Uh oh. Supernatural stuff. Ghost. Got scared. Note on page 53, 881. I love the political dynamics. In this part of the book that he was talking about, those politics were so realistic and so on point. I just love that. So on point. It could have been right out of today's headlines. Somebody, well, today's, yeah, I'm going to just say, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to stop. It was just so on point. Page 56, location 921. Cool. I was not mad. If you heard that with a motorcycle passing by, I don't mind it. I don't mind the sounds outside, but sometimes they might be distracting for other people. But it don't bother me. I don't mind the city noises. Page 57, location 930. It was so witty, it made me smile. Yes, he's a very witty writer. Very, very, very witty. It's a part of his writing style. Some writers write straightforward, and their writing is interesting, but his is very witty and they're interesting. He is witty when it needs to be. He's very good. He's a very, very, very prolific, well-rounded kind of writer. Uh, Note on page 71, location 1099. I loved Maya. And then on page 76, location 1177, I got scared again. Page 85 on 1300, he said something that was very, 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 very insightful. Like I said, his stuff could come out of the headlines, today's headlines. He's discussing topics that we talk about right now, and that's to me it's intelligent and it's appreciated. Page 191, location 2825. I like this passage. I just like that passage with Yeah, I remember this part. She shut down the bull crap. A lot of times we just don't shut down the bull crap soon enough. Yes. And do read that passage when you get the book. Go to location 2825 and look at what happened. And I think that this is something all of us could adopt as a policy is just stop trying to be tactful and find ways to say nice stuff about people who are abusing your good manners. Page 219, location 3218. Lots of laughter, too funny, and a good idea for all charlatans. He a very witty writer. Location 251. Page 251, location 3659. This is what made the book 100% black first. And I'll stop right there. I'll leave it right there. But do go to that location. Okay, page 282, 4075. The whole chapter was so wonderful to read. All I did was smile for the rest of the book. Yes, yes. Location 283. Page 283, location 4091. So cool and touching. And I'm going to leave it right there too. Note on page 284, location 4113. I shouted yes. Good. Page 291, location 4002, 4207. I'm sorry. I think that these six commandments, I think of these as the six commandments. I also think that portions of this should be included in all future Black First discussions, numbers 2 through 6. And you'll know what that means when you get there. But yeah, this is something that should be a part of our all future discussions as Black First people. Page 294, location 4258. This is good too. Page 326, location 4672. I put down well said. Well said. He said something very well. Page 328, location 4676. This is our due. This is our due. I wrote down that this is a 100% Black First book. All problems were resolved by Black people, and it was superb. Ollie, much of this is possible in real life. When you read the book and set aside the supernatural stuff and the storyline, a lot of this stuff we can actually do ourselves. A lot of this stuff can actually happen if we just did it. Just did it. We don't have to have permission. This is stuff we can actually do our own self. Now I'm gonna pause right here and see if I can go find a file. A page, because I want to explain what Black First is. But I want to use my page to do it. And so let me see. Can I pause for a few seconds? Pause. Okay. Now what I did was go and get a link to my video about pro. I'm back. Pro Black literature, and I just went to my webpage. What I'm gonna do is put a link in there about what I mean by pro Black authors and things. I mean what pro Black literature is. And so what I did was put it in the description box on that original video. I just didn't. I just gave up trying to find my paper, my original paper. I don't know where I put it. I probably put it where I put everything that I lose, and that's this place I called where I won't forget it. I probably do forget it. But pro Black literature this time is going to mean no more man hating books, our Black woman hating books, no more beat down, and downtrodden type books. It's got to be a black author, and we must control our own narrative and make the endings happen the way we want it. And we can't be downtrodden, weak, ineffective, black people struggling in these stories. We must see solutions where we win on a mass basis, not just one person. It got to be mass basis. And I said that Sister Ajali and Brother Yapa Yapa are the two pro-black authors, and I want to see more. Right now, they're still the only two that I see. There might be more, um, but they probably just write in a genre that I don't read. And so these authors are providing what we ask for. And I want these to be us black people solving all of our problems where we all win on a mass basis. And it's got to be showing us shown in a positive light in all walks of life, but definitely in a positive light where we are the realistic kind of people that we are. I mean, the realistic people that we see. And that is people who are just going to work every day and having successes and failures. Not a bunch of, we are not bunch of drug dealers. Most of us don't see drug dealers every day, not at least not knowing it, because we just going to work and coming home. And so these are positive things where we got solutions and we are solving our problems ourselves. And this why that and there was this passage that made that book 100% black first. And I did something weird. Okay, there. Ain't no telling what I just did. I can't keep up with the weird stuff I do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the screen. I think there. Now, okay. And I wrote down finally that, and it's oddly much of this is possible in real life. Now, this is the part that I wanted to add. A side note. Today is August the 12th. It's about a week after the Montgomery brawl at the docks. And I have made a few connections. These are the things that are in the book. There is a word that I don't know that's happening in the cosmos right now. Um, he wrote this book a few months ago. So I don't know whether you want to call it predicting, foreshadowing, or some other word that I don't know, but it is something to note. And I'm coming to that Amazon page that I keep going to. Close this out, close out my YouTube page. And let me see if I can go to the Amazon page. Or maybe not. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to close out of my Kindle. And looks like I have to open up my Amazon page again because I got creative and closed it. So give me a few seconds. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm checking to see if I done closed out everything. Okay, Kindle Unlimited. Current. Okay, going back to the Amazon page and watch it just explode for some reason. There. It's got when I borrowed it last. And that's his synopsis. This is a very 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 important picture I like. And closing that. This right here, read more. This last paragraph that I was talking about. This is the connections: ancestors, water, a boat, discussion of oppression, as when they were beating that guy, retribution, and teamwork. Ancestors on the water, boat or boats, oppression, retribution, and teamwork. By teamwork, I mean young and old, men and women. We had teenagers all the way up to the elderly. Teamwork, coordinated teamwork. I'm not making this up. It's right there. Right there. The souls we've been talking about ancestors all through that storyline about what happened a week ago. We've been talking about ancestors all through that. Okay? And there you go. Souls and spirits. And what of the cargo? It's about the ancestors in the water. That's the kind of junk that scares the hell out of me because I'm a big chicken. But what in the world? I don't know. It's that's above my pay grade, but I can see the writing. Okay? And so there's another word for what's going on that I don't know, but that's something to think about and look at and ponder. Okay. And I'm gonna leave it in your hands, in y'all's hands, cause we all know I'm a chicken. So uh, that's scary stuff. Okay, so just wanted to at least let you see them connections, and this is our reality. That ain't a story. What that ain't made up. That is not that incident was not a fiction. This book is fiction, but it connects to today, or today connects with it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I just had to put that side note and add that to the review. Okay? So, um thanks for listening to me. I'm going to drink my tea and be freaked out on my own time. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.